All right. So how's everybody doing tonight? Let me see. Are we live? Are we going live? Let me check. Oh yeah, we're pretty live. All right, we're waiting for some people to pop on. We appreciate you joining. This is the Maverick Times podcast, episode number 57, guys. Had to make a quick change. Episode number 57, guys, and we appreciate you. We've been running this for a while, and episodes keep the number keeps on climbing, and that's why we put those two zeros in front of that 57, because that we keep on going for the community. We keep on going to bring information to the community today. Excuse me. Very important topic. Very important topic. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. It's Tuesday. It's early in the week. Of course, we have several things to discuss, important things. We have a lot of things going on at the school district. We had, before the last time we had a podcast, we had a tragedy happen, and we want to discuss that a little bit as well. And of course, before we start anything, a shout out to the San Luis Mighty Cardinals on their first victory today, first game of the season against the Pete Gallegos Lobos. Thank you, Pete Gallegos, for giving us a tough fight. The Mighty Cardinals won their game today, 28-6. So shout out to all the players on the team. They did a great job. These kids, they're dedicated. They all always show up to practice. We had a little curveball with the new rules going on, so we had to come up with something, and we were able to adjust. And these kids, man, I can't stress enough. If you're able to get your kids in sports, that helps a lot, keeps them out of trouble, and it teaches them discipline. I know I'm hard on my boys because I think that's the way I grew up with sports. I had tough coaches, and discipline is very important, especially in young men and women's lives. Especially the boys, we do need to make sure we guide them well. And I think sports is one of the best ways. And I'm just really proud of how they performed today. So shout out to the Mighty Cardinals Division 3 team. You guys did work. Again, the Lobos, thank you very much for doing a great fight with us, man. They were a very good team, talented team, but our guys were able to pull it out. So shout out, Mighty Cardinals, Division 3, San Luis Elementary. So guys, let's get to this topic at hand. We see we got a few more people on here. We appreciate you guys. Do me a favor before we get into the good stuff. If you can like this podcast and share this podcast, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. We appreciate you watching. So it really helps us when you like it, love it, heart it, or hey, if you don't like it, put a little mad face. Either way, it helps us with the logarithm in Facebook, and share it for us so we can get other people seeing this. So no further delay. Let's get to these topics at hand. One thing I want to do real quick. I want to have a brief moment of silence for those in our community that passed away in the tragedy that we had at the Lucky Eagle Casino over here in the Kickapoo Reservation. It was very devastating, and a tragedy that happened, guys. Nobody expects to be walking out of a casino and shots ringing out. Of course, it was disappointing, especially it's not even a member of our community. Somebody coming here to do their mugrero here in our backyard. It's disappointing. So quick moment of silence for them, please. All right. And we want to send our best wishes to the families of those that were affected. It is a tragedy, and we, wholeheartedly, you guys are going to be in my family's prayers. And I encourage all those watching, even if you don't pray, just say a couple of nice words, hopefully before you go to sleep, just to send good wishes and positive vibes to the family that may be going through something. It's very disappointing that what happened. The situation is something that nobody expects to happen. um, Everybody was out to enjoy a good time at the casino, and some guy, for whatever reason, you lost money, had a fight or whatever it was. There's no reason to resort to that kind of thing if you're not able to hold a gun and keep your sanity when something goes wrong against you. I think that maybe you shouldn't be owning a gun. But it's an unfortunate incident. We had a moment of silence. The Antley family, we do wish you guys nothing but the best wishes. Also to the other family from Carrizo, Dimmitt County, we wish you the best. And, hopefully you guys can find some comfort. And we send you our condolences on behalf of the Maverick Times. So, guys, let's get into this first topic. Guys, I don't see anybody on the chat. Say hi, say what's up. Let's get this going. Of course, you guys know that this podcast isn't anything without the community it has. So if you can interact, we appreciate it. Tell us where we're doing good, tell us where we're doing bad, or just give us an opinion. It's all good and gravy over here. You know how we do it. So moving into segueing into okay, we had a tragedy at the casino. There has been multiple threats across several different schools over the past couple of months. There's been threats at Pete Gallegos. There's been threats at Armando Serna Elementary. There's been threats at Juan Seguin Elementary, most recently, right? And also at EPJH, the junior high, we know that there has been threats going on there as well. Excuse me, that are geared to certain people, and it's a group of people that are making these threats, and they haven't done anything to this group of people, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing, especially when you see certain cases like in the Seguin Elementary case. There was a threat made. My understanding, it was a student, and they were detained, and something happened. Obviously, we don't know what charges, or if they were charged. This is coming from the school that they had detained, and they were going to charge a student for making some kind of threat. We don't know what the threat was, because again, they don't share that with us. But they were able to get to the bottom of it, find out who it was, and they detained and charged them. My only question is, why was that process done differently than it was in Armando Serna? At Armando Serna, you had what Chief of Police Amy Gonzalez confirmed as two letters. These two letters contained threats, and they contained specific names of people. Now, the students that made these threats, even though they have not detained anybody, they have not charged anybody like they did at the Seguin Elementary, were still present in school after the threats that were made. Now, let me tell you that they'll try to say they don't know what student it was or try to give you what story like that, but everybody knows in that school who made those threats. I don't know who they did, because the school district is actively trying to cover up who made these threats. I don't understand why. Maybe there's a reason why they're being covered up. Maybe there isn't. We don't know, because we have not been told the full story. Now, one thing that did come through on the Remind or Parent Square, where they notify parents, was that they went to the home of this student and they checked out, and there was no guns. Yet at Seguin Elementary, big difference from what happened at Armando Serna. At Armando Serna Elementary, the school district pushed out a notification saying that they went to the home of the person. So now they're saying they don't know There's a lot of people saying, oh, well, they haven't charged anybody because they don't know. Yet the school district actually pushed out a notification saying that they went to the home of this individual, the student, and that they didn't have any weapons. Not that he was detained and charged. That is what they said about the student or individual that made the threat at Juan Seguin. Now, that whole story I tell you because how fair is that some students don't get charged and some students get detained and charged? What is the difference between Armando Serna Elementary, Juan Seguin Elementary, Eagle Pass Junior High, and P. Gallegos Elementary? What is the difference? These individuals should be handled equally and the same. Now, not handling this in a uniform fashion, what I mean is equal across the board, leads to parents speculating. Was it a student of a teacher? We don't know. Was it student of a school board member? We don't know. What we do know is that those two cases were handled very differently. And the school district refuses to address why these two situations were handled differently. Now, don't get me wrong. I am glad that in the Juan Seguin case, at least everything was handled swiftly. Everything was handled quickly. And, props to them. They had the DPS out there. Thank you. Shout out to the Texas Department of Public Safety, our troopers. There's a lot of them here in town. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for your added support. We had the school district police out there, and we also had the City of Eagle Pass Police Department making their presence felt at the Juan Seguin Elementary whenever the threat was made. So don't get me wrong. We appreciate that effort. We do. I'm a parent, and I really appreciate that effort. I actually saw also a police out at my kid's school when I went to go drop them off in the morning today, and it's appreciated. I think that chief of police Amy Gonzalez is going above and beyond than many other entities here by helping us as parents to feel safe to send our students to school. Now, how does the tragedy that happened in the casino tie into what is going on in these schools? Well, many people may not directly see a link or want to link up the two, but what I am getting at is that we are seeing increasing violence in our community, not just in Eagle Pass, in our surrounding area. Guys, I don't have to remind y'all about the tragedy that happened, not too far ago, just an hour away in Uvalde, Texas, at Robb Elementary. Now, if many of you guys have kept up with that story, year after it's happened, we find out that there was actual threats given to the school before it happened. And those threats were not acted upon. There was nothing done to address those threats against Robb Elementary. Does that sound familiar to you guys? It should. Because what they're doing right now at the Eagle Pass Independent School District is that they're refusing to address the situation at hand. Specifically at Armando Serna University, Armando Serna Elementary, and also at the Eagle Pass Junior High. There was a young lady that was, brutally jumped. She was brutally beaten by several girls. Where is the security? Where is the protection of our students? God forbid it happens to any of y'all's kids that are watching right now. How would you feel as parents? Now, I don't blame the EPISD police because, maybe they're not staffed adequately. Instead, Superintendent Samuel Mijares has chosen to create positions to place certain individuals in positions to help his own agenda. Now, we've tried to reach out to him, and it would have been nice to reach out to him again and see if he wanted to jump on the podcast. The only thing is that we don't see that happening. And there isn't anyone else that's willing to ask him these questions. Now, these are our students, these are our kids. And we trust the school district to take care of our kids when we have to let them go, right? And the thing is that it's very difficult for a parent to let their kids go anywhere to begin with, and then to have the vulnerability that is shown right now or is being shown by the school district. Again, guys, I mean, I can sit here and try to blame the police, right? But if you only have two cops, EPISD policemen stationed at a school, it seems that they're a little bit overwhelmed. Now, my question would be is that where is the common sense? Where is the common sense from the superintendent? Rather than creating positions like an events coordinator, can you tell me any other district that might have an events coordinator? Because we've been looking up several districts in our area, and there is not one district coordinator in the region. Now, I can understand a district coordinator in a San Antonio region where there's 15 high schools, SAISD. We have two high schools. We have what, 20 something elementaries? In a world where we have a shortage of teachers, Samuel Mijares, the superintendent, is more important, places more importance on creating a position that isn't really needed, and well-funded position that is not really needed. Rather than attempting to recruit and target educated teachers, educated aides that have been in the classroom and have experience, they're almost pulling people off the damn streets. And as a parent, if you care anything about your kids, I mean, how can we let that slide? How can we let that happen? Now, we broke some news that no one else is breaking because everybody else is on the school district's payroll. And it's fine. We're no one to judge about that. Everybody's got to make their money. But I can tell you there's very few, maybe less than a handful of individuals out here that did not uh, fall for that trap. And you can see, I mean, you guys notice it. Who else is out there telling you guys that there is over 50 complaints currently to TEA coming from Armando Serna Elementary parents? We hear from these parents, guys. They reach out to us. And what they told us was, how do we do this? How can we submit a complaint? And that's going to be part of our show right now, is that we're going to tell you guys and go through how to submit a complaint for you guys to know, you guys as parents, or you guys as teachers, or you guys as counselors, or you guys as principals, administrators that may not know, may not want to. But I was taught since I was little, is if you don't stand up for what is right, you accept what is wrong. Now I'm going to say that again. I was taught since I was young that if you don't stand up for what is right, what is just, what is correct, you do not. You stand, you sit down for what is wrong. You accept what is wrong. And that's the difficult thing about this situation, is that we know what's going on. We see these problems. Now, let me tell you, the school district could be in violation of House Bill 2, HB 2. Let me go ahead and talk to you a little bit about that. So HB 2 came in effect in 2025. It's a school safety allotment and staff notification. It requires timely notification to all teaching staff, including aides, who may be directly affected in the event of a campus level threat. Now, we were made aware that some of the teachers at Armando Serna Elementary, they still did not even know about this threat. How can that be? When HB 2, House Bill 2, says it requires timely notification to all teaching staff, including aides, who may be directly affected in the event of a campus level threat. Now, you tell me 2 letters threatening specific individuals, some type of hit list. I think that that is, and meets the requirements to be a campus level threat. So my question is, why weren't teachers, why weren't aides notified about this campus level threat? Now, this is one item that every one of y'all watching right now can get on. Everybody that's watching right now, this is one of those violations. The EPISD, Eagle Pass Independent Schools District, violated House Bill 2 because they did not notify all teachers, all aides, and staff about the campus level threat that occurred last week in Armando Serna Elementary. These are the kind of complaints that TEA, Texas Education Agency, needs to know about. And let me tell you, in San Antonio, I believe it was South San, there was so many complaints, like, we're hoping everybody comes forward with TEA to make complaints, because enough is enough. I've heard that time and time again from many parents reaching out to us. Enough is enough. And I couldn't agree with you more. So, to be able to make a legitimate complaint, the school district, in this case EPISD, has to has to violate a Texas education code. In other words, a law made for the school. HB2, as I just read to you right now, requires the school district to make those notifications to teachers, to all staff, aides, if there's a threat made, a campus-wide threat. And that's exactly what happened at Armando Serna Elementary. Yet these students, they didn't get detained. They were not charged. Yet another elementary, I don't know, maybe because they're on the south side, they got charged and detained, which, hey, you know, you do the crime, you got to do the time. But I think that that is very unfair and that should not happen. We have a comment. Javier Gonzalez, it has to start at home with the discipline. When a teacher or administrator calls home to have a meeting with the parents, parents will always defend their child. Oh, not my child. Parents and administrators have to work together and be on the same page at all times. Communication is key. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Javier. And that's the way it should be. Um, Now, it's very difficult, especially being a parent, um, to accept these things, guys. You know, it's a thing where if you guys aren't going to be treating these kids the same, we need to know. We need to know, because if you're not going to be treating all of our kids the same, if some are more privileged than others, well, I think some of us parents need to know that. And you know, it's very difficult, and I don't understand why administrators at the school level, I'm talking about principals, I'm talking about IOs, instructional officers, I'm talking about counselors. I don't know why you would choose to cover up certain details when it comes to threats, especially when your students are the ones being threatened. It's hard to understand why a school administrator, a principal, a counselor, an instructional officer. Um, in this case, in Armando Serna, you have the principal, Mr. Leja. You have the instructional officer, Ms. Gomez. I might have that name wrong. I'll get it for you to make sure. But you have these individuals there that are supposed to act in the best interest of your students, not the district, not the best interest of parents, certain parents, but in the best interest of all students. And I think that that is where they are dropping the ball. I would ask Principal Leja, what else are you hiding from this school threat? We have another comment. Eddie Avalos, I agree, school administrators should be accountable. Now, you know, there's different levels of accountability, but I think one of the main thing that we are all disappointed as parents is it just seems like they're protecting a student. Now, how do you go in Armando Serna and say and notify parents saying that the school police went over to somebody's house, they checked, and there was no weapons. Nothing about a charge, nothing about detaining, nothing about an arrest. Yet, you guys actually go as far to go with the person in Juan Seguin Elementary, that student, and you want to detain them and charge them. Again, we don't see a difference. I mean, I think that would open up, the school district for a lawsuit. I mean, why are we treating these threats differently? I understand there's levels of threats, but if you make a threat to anybody's life, it needs to be handled with discipline. They need to be detained, they need to be charged, and they need some kind of remediation done with a counselor. Now, I don't know the parents of this individual, and it's probably none of my business. But one thing I will say is that it starts at home. I'm after my kids' asses all the damn time because, I'll be damned if they're going to be doing something stupid like that and worrying other kids. And I've had this talk with my kids. And I encourage you all to have the same talk with your kids about doing these kind of things and making sure they're there to learn. That's the idea of a school, is to go and learn. Now, it's become fairly popular to be making threats and whatever. Kids will be kids, but that then goes back to the school district in enforcing some type of punishment, some type of discipline to ensure these kids do not make these threats. Now, if you saw the post that our associate editor posted, the video, that's out of Florida, guys. They 11-year-old was made a threat, had a kill list. That 11-year-old was handcuffed, taken to the county, fingerprinted, and locked up in a cell until his parents came to bail him out. There was another one in the same county. This is the same county. Can't remember what county it was out of the Florida, but I do have it in my feed if you want to go take a look at that. And this county is actually stepping up. They're not waiting for the school district to do anything. Now, just recently, you had Sheriff Schmerber complaining about a budget. And it always has to be something political with that guy. Always something political. Now, you see all the damn time. Yeah, I'm a strong supporter of public safety. Those should be one of your biggest budgets. But when does it get to a point when the person that's in charge of that, I mean, they were talking about a mechanic. They were talking about several other things as far as the budget's too low, we can't do this, we can't do that. Yet the same thing that happens in the school district happens at the county sheriff's office. And they continue to politicize every opportunity, even when a tragedy happens. The unfortunate incident at the casino. And, not even a day or two goes by, and you have the county sheriff politicizing that event, the tragedy. Well, I mean, all I can tell you into that respect is check out the news. There are several reports out there on how, the sheriff's office has a lot of bad apples. Not everybody. There's a lot of good, hardworking people there. But there's a lot of bad apples. And those same bad apples are the ones that are trying to keep the power and politicize tragedies to their own benefit. And I can't get too deep in it because, like I said, there is a lot of good people there. There's a lot of good people there. There is. There's hard workers. They keep their head down. We have a lot of people that tell us stuff that is going on at the county sheriff's office. And it's disappointing to hear this man, the county sheriff, come out and politicize something when he doesn't even know what's going on behind his back. A lot of you people saw that press conference that they held. How embarrassing. It's an embarrassment. Now, as much as I say Sheriff Schmerber, and I do like the man, the person. I think Sheriff Schmerber's a great man. I do. I've had the fortunate to meet him on a personal level, and I think he's a good guy. I just don't think he knows what other people are doing behind his back. The ones that really run that county sheriff's office. And it's through no fault of the sheriff of his own. I mean, the sheriff is a decent guy. I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, he is a decent guy. And, the only reason why it may sound like we're kind of, going out and saying these things about him is because he is the head of the sheriff's office. It's the sheriff. But we can tell you those bad apples that are behind him, he doesn't know everything that goes on. He doesn't know if somebody's getting paid to look the other way on certain things. He probably doesn't even know half of this politicizing story. He's just, doing what he is told. But Sheriff Schmerber is a great guy. I mean, I have nothing personal against him. He's a great man. I used to work for him many years ago, and I have no complaints with him. He's a solid guy. Every time I see him, I shake his hand. But it's his certain people in his department, certain people at the sheriff's department that is really affecting how good that sheriff's office can be. It really is. And it's disappointing to see because, there's so many things the sheriff office can do, specifically whenever there's threats. If there's a county sheriff's office out in Florida arresting these students, why isn't Maverick County Sheriff's Office arresting these students that are making these threats? That is the only way these local threats stop from students. Arrest them. Put them in a cell. Show them the consequences of their actions, and I guarantee you they will start thinking before they write any threat. Students that see that will think before they get their damn little crayons and write these little rants on a piece of paper. Where is the counselor at Armando Serna? Where is the instructional officer at Armando Serna? Where is the principal at this school? Why aren't they taking care of the students? Now, from what I hear, Armando Serna is a great elementary. It's awesome. But do you think that the administration is handling what they should be handling? We received a lot of notifications, a lot of text messages from you parents upset that you saw school board president Jorge Barrera walking in like nothing, skipping the line of parents waiting to take their kids out. That, I mean, really? Parents were scared. Parents were worried. And again, why has Superintendent Samuel Mijares not done anything about the way it was handled? The way it was handled by the administration of Armando Serna Elementary directly violates House Bill 2. And in a minute, we're going to show you guys how you can submit that complaint. Submit that complaint, and come October 14th, there's a school board meeting. If you guys are upset of what is happening in our community with these threats and how they're being handled, I encourage you, I strongly encourage you guys to get out there on October 14th and make your voice heard. If you are not going to be the voice for your student, for your child, then who will be? The charger is probably off. Sorry about that, guys. We have my beautiful daughter here. She's editing some photos of the Mighty Cardinals win. She's a little photographer now, learning how to edit. Can you not make all that noise, please? People are hearing. Sorry about that interruption, guys. But I mean, this is what I'm saying is that you need to be able to. Did you finish the photos?
I did most of them, but it turned off like randomly, just
What-
went black.
Charge it. It got disconnected.
I don't know if it's dead
Just
or
charge
it's
it.
overheated.
Just charge it.
It started breathing.
Just charge it, please. The charger's in there. So you have a situation that what's going on? A lot of parents are asking what's happening, why has nothing been done? And we're here for those parents. We're here to gather all this information because we share your sentiment as far as nothing was done. Where are the charges? Where is the detainment? Where is the accountability for the administration? Now, when I say administration of Armando Serna, I'm talking about the principal, I'm talking about the IO, and I'm talking about the counselor. Those are the ones that are considered administration in elementary schools. The ball was dropped. What if that threat was an imminent threat and something was going to happen? We have another comment. Chico de Luna, question to ask. Is the student involved at Serna Elementary, a mentally challenged student? Is this why the threat was not taken seriously? I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. But the thing is, if there's a threat made, something needs to be done. Now, the level or scale of what kind of discipline is given out, I don't think that's for me to decide or any of us to decide, other than we want to see consistency throughout the schools. Now, most of the time, something like this happens. I'm not an expert, but we see through past mass shootings, there could be bullying. There could be a lack of being able to handle being emotionally, how do I say it? Lacking emotional intelligence in students. These are things that are happening. Now, it does start at home, but it does extend into the classroom. That's why we have counselors that are available at each campus. In the higher level campuses and secondary, of course, you have multiple counselors. They're not there just to help you get to colleges. They're supposed to be equipped to handle these emotional students, these students that are being bullied, these students that don't know how to address certain things that may be happening at home, they may be happening in the classroom. These are real life situations, guys. Now, how did the shooting at Uvalde start? With a threat that was ignored. Multiple threats that were ignored. Now, would you think that the threat at Armando Serna was being brushed off and ignored? It was a big ball that was dropped, guys. Again, they directly violated House Bill 2 that was issued in 2025, stating that they are supposed to notify all teachers, including aides, the staff, if there is any type of campus wide threat. Multiple names on something like a hit list in 2 letters. That sounds to me like a campus wide threat. Why was the situation at Armando Serna handled differently than the one in Seguin Elementary? Now, it looks like we're actually having some sort of progress with the school district finally coming up to meet City of Eagle Pass officials. And I'm glad that Samuel Mijares, the superintendent, finally swallowed his pride and showed up to a meeting with the school, with the city, because it's not about pride. It's not about quien controla. It's not about laws don't apply to you. It's about our students. It's about our kids. It's about the safety of our students and kids. Now, accountability needs to be there. If there's no accountability, these things are going to continue to happen. And that is what we want to avoid as parents. As parents, we do not want our kids at risk. You know, I could only imagine how it was for some of these parents seeing that notification come through. I could imagine some of y'all's heart dropped. Y'all were worried. Y'all were scared. I know I would be. Those are our kids. We want them to be safe. We want them to be okay. And the thing is without the accountability from the top, you're not going to get accountability anywhere. If the school board refuses to hold Superintendent Samuel Mijares accountable, Superintendent Samuel Mijares is not going to hold his school administrators like Principal Leija, like the IO out there at Armando Serna. They're not going to hold him accountable. Let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think should be done about the situation? Do you think that Samuel Mijares should be held accountable? Do you think the principal, Leija, should be held accountable? Do you think the IO should be held accountable? Do you think the counselor at the school should be held accountable? Who should be held accountable for dropping the ball at Armando Serna? And they still haven't detained and charged anybody. Another comment coming from Javier Gonzalez. I think they could have done a better job with a press conference. People came from all the way in San Antonio for that. Yeah. I think you're referring to the sheriff's office press conference. I mean, it was terrible, man. And you even had news medias there fighting amongst each other. Man, that's terrible. Um, yeah, guys. I mean, you know, we have the opportunity to do so much better, and unfortunately, some administrators they just don't allow the department to progress. And that's when you get back to la política and some of y'all that continue to vote. I don't think anybody here, though. I think you guys, as a community that join us here, I think you guys are some of the most intelligent people in our community because you know how to sort through the bullshit. You know who's bringing you information that no one else is bringing you. And we know why. And like I said, it's not anything for me to criticize anybody on. That's not what I'm doing. But what I'm doing is letting you guys know that accountability is real and accountability is needed for our community to progress. Because if not, we're just stuck in the old political machine days where literally anybody did anything. Well, not anybody, only the selected few, the elected few, got away with everything back in the day. And we can't allow that to happen anymore. Our community has come a long way and we're growing. We're growing. We have visitors from all over now coming to our community and leaving our community because of what a shit show it is in some areas. And that's what we need to fix as a community, as parents, as adults that are going to leave a legacy behind for our students. Now, I wanted to talk with you guys about something extremely important. Now, I told you about the possible violation of House Bill 2. House Bill 2 is very important because that is the law that the state enacted that requires the schools to notify parents, teachers, aides. This HB2 requires them to notify them in a timely manner, and we had Armando Serna left very vulnerable because of the lack of follow through some of those administrators at Armando Serna Elementary. So we were going to show you guys how you can make a report to the Texas Education Agency, which is very important. We need to be able to make our voice heard. We need to be able to express ourselves without the fear of retaliation. We live in the United States of America, in the greatest country, in the greatest state in that country, Texas. And those days are over where we need to be scared of certain people. Again, if you don't stand up for what is right, you have to accept what is wrong. So let's get into this sharing with you guys. That way, you guys know how to what do we got here? So you can go to any browser, guys. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I use Brave. You could use Google. You could use, anything that you use. From here, you can put TEA complaints against school district. So that very first one right there, TEA complaints management. Not too hard to find, guys. You scroll down, it tells you a lot of good information, violations of federal programs, misuse of funds, violations of legal obligations regarding school board, district trustees, governing bodies, public schools, or superintendents. Superintendents, right there. So let's see, filing a complaint. That's what we want to show you guys, how to file a complaint, right? Let me see. There you go. You see this right here on the side, the contact information, complaints management. It gives you a phone number. I had a individual that asked me today, how can I get a complaint about the school district? So we have it right there, online complaint form. You can call. Online complaint form. You can run the complaint form. So let's show you the complaint form here, how easy it is. You just click on the link. Easy form to scroll through. We'll go ahead and look. You can even put this as an anonymous submission. So you don't have to necessarily put your name on this. You can do an anonymous one. And that'll switch. But we'll go ahead and run it through. Let's see. We're Mr. Isaac T. Ruiz. Provide a phone number. All of y'all know our phone number. If y'all ever need anything, a complaint, we're here for you guys. Email the Maverick Times News at gmail.com. Confirm your email, the Maverick Times News at gmail.com. Address 410 North Bibb, South Bibb Avenue. Number 233 or unit number 233, Eagle Pass, Texas 78852. Additional contact information. Well, no, we don't have additional contact. We are a citizen. All right, so that was the first page, guys. Not hard, not difficult. A small investment towards the betterment of your student, your child. Click next. School information. District charter, Eagle. See, you can even stretch it here. Eagle Pass ISD. Organization number 159901. select it, select campus. Let me see here. Got the little bubble here. It's in the way. Armando Serna University Elementary just comes out right there, right away in the first one. Of course, there's the other ones. So if you're not putting a specific complaint for Armando Serna, which many of you should, again, because of the House Bill 2 that was violated, but you can put a complaint against any other school or district. Um, it has the high school. There's a Seguin, Kennedy, Perfecto Mancha Memorial, Kirchner, Rosita Valley, San Luis, Seco Mines. It has all the schools here. We have Armando Serna. And educator preparation program, if applicable, it's not applicable. Complaint description. So TEA requires complaints to provide certain information so that the complaint can be appropriately reviewed and assigned by the Division of Complaint and Investigations. Please fill out this form carefully and completely as possible. TEA will only investigate and or review compliance with the complaints that allege a violation of state and federal education law or regulation over which the TEA has jurisdiction or authority to regulate. TEA may require evidence of good faith attempt at LEA resolution using the appropriate local process prior to review of your complaint. So, depending on what the complaint is about, they may require you to look into directly handling it with the district. So, my recommendation would be submit this form, submit a letter, or you know what, if you want, you can submit your complaint to us. We can prepare a letter on your behalf and submit it for you. But it does hold a little bit more if you guys submit it on your own. Show up to the meeting. There's going to be a meeting on October the 14th, and demand the school board to do something, because it's been terrible, this school board, how they protect Samuel Mijares, the superintendent. It is happening, and that is why what's going on, and that is why we are getting this poor quality of education for our students, poor quality of safety for our students, and why our students, some students, are afraid to go to school. So they have many things here. If it's a special education services dispute, they have their own dispute there. You can use an alternative form for special education and dyslexia complaints. So as you can see, there's a lot of different violations here. So what would this situation be, right? Hey, there's even school board and governance, nepotism, conflict of interest, and Open Meetings Act. That's another one that we might be able to submit a complaint about, since the school board decided to appeal a judgment whenever they decided that school board member Morris Lipson's position needed to go to an election. That was decided by the judge of the 365th Judicial District, Judge Abascal, and the school district, or Samuel Mijares, the superintendent, decided to appeal that decision without requesting or without going to the school board. Why would it not go back to the school board? Conflict of interest. With the new conflict of interest law that was just enacted in 2025, there's a big conflict of interest clause now, that if you engage in services or provide services to the school district, you are not allowed to be a school board member anymore. That is one thing that I would encourage everybody to complain about, because it's very important to know who are these people that have something invested in the decisions that the school board makes, especially if they have a contract with the school board or with the school district as a school board member. Now, there's even educator misconduct, discrimination, civil rights violations, non-compliance, misuse of funds, employee issues, individual student issues. Actually, if yours doesn't fall into one of these categories, they have another description: violation of House Bill 2. It was implemented in 2025, and it was school safety allotment and staff notification. Gotta love these autocorrects, right, guys? What we do without it. So, teachers, aides, and staff. Oh, it doesn't let me go anymore. Oh, we can go a little bit more in detail over here. If you selected educator misconduct, please enter their full name. You can add more than one educator. I would say Principal Leija. Let's see. The IO. Or we'll just put instructional officer and counselor of Armando Serna Elementary. Describe the violation. Again, it's a violation of House Bill. Violation of House Bill 2. And what was it? What was it that happened? Of course, teachers, aides, and staff were not notified about a threatening letter written you can even that's cool, right? You can do make it bigger and stuff. Cool. Anyways, aides and staff were not notified about a two threatening letters that were written in a classroom. The letters had names of individuals like a hit list. This was discovered Monday morning. Let's put a date. I think that when you put dates, it tends to be a little more strength to your cause. So this is the 22nd. On Monday morning, September 22nd, 2025, and school and teachers let's put this letter was discovered Monday morning, September 2025, 2020, September 22nd, 2025. Teachers, aides, staff, and parents were not notified until the following day at around 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. They were only notified until a 911 call was made to the city of Eagle Pass police at 8:59 a.m. This caused panic, and for the parents of the school, a difficult decision in picking up their students or children once they were notified. This is a direct violation of House Bill 2. So it says describe facts in which the allegation is based. Be specific. Again, violation of House Bill 2, because teachers were not and aides were not notified about the threat. Parents were not notified about the threat in a reasonable manner. No one was notified until after 24 hours had passed. Include specific dates and events. The first letter was discovered Monday morning, September 22nd, 2025, and a subsequent letter was discovered hours later. Teachers, aides, staff, and parents were not notified until the following day at 10:30 a.m. through a memo. This was not released until after a 911 call was made to City of Eagle Pass Police Department. Describe, well, I mean, this is exactly what happened. It's a little lengthy process, guys. I'm not gonna tell you we've lost a few viewers here. I mean, it's not glamorous. Let's see. I have not attempted to resolve, and you can do all this. You've contacted the teacher or principal. I have filed a grievance. Now, we will be putting out information on how to file a grievance locally. That way, you guys are prepared to file a grievance if need based on local policy. Again, we feel that that'll be something that'll be written out, that'll be nice and clear as far as steps that you can take. Supporting documentation. Okay, let's you get the gist of it. We can upload this. You put what I would put here would be the letter from the school district that finally came out. I would put also the letter that came out from the police, the chief of police, Amy Gonzalez, that put out a press release talking about the 911 call that came in. Let's see. Let me go ahead and just Google this real quick, because if you Google the Maverick Times, you can pull it from there. We have both the letter and both the letter from both entities that came out. So that would be a smart thing to do. That way you don't have to fumble through it or anything. Let me see. Save as. Save. There's the press release, and then there's the announcement from. And these are all timestamped, guys. So, you know, we weren't going to do it, but hey, jump on the Maverick Times, and we have both those files readily available for you. We have the screenshot of the announcement from the Eagle Pass Police Department, and then we have the actual letter that came out from the Armando Serna Elementary. So we're uploading it. There you go. You see both of them uploaded. Next. So it tells you, it has all your information that you just submitted, right? And then submit. There you go. And it even tells you phone numbers where you can back up. If you have any inquiry, if you have any issues, you want to follow up with your complaint, there's an email, there's an address. You can write them, you can send an email, or you can even call them directly to make this complaint. It gives you a reference number here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and screenshot this just so we have it on for our files, right? It's very important to keep on top of everything and documentation, guys. I used to have a boss that was real big on documentation, and thanks to him, we've been able to be smart about situations and make sure we document. So we're gonna go ahead and screenshot that whole thing, save it, save, and there you go. So we've already submitted this complaint on behalf of parents for from on behalf of parents of Armando Serna. You see, as soon as you submit the complaint, you get an email back. I saw an email come through. You may not see it right, but through our Gmail, the complaint is there. It says complaints management, confirmation of receipt of compliance and investigation, general complaint form. It has the reference number. It tells you thank you, and they're experience a high volume, but they will respond to your situation. Now, imagine we already have 50 of these coming from Armando Serna Elementary. I don't know why I keep on saying university, but Armando Serna Elementary, there's already 50 plus. Another thing that you need to do besides this is submit a local grievance with your school board, with the school district that will just support your claim with TEA. It's very important to do so. Now, another way you can also handle it is document the time that you go to the school board meeting. Again, the next school board meeting is October the 14th. From my understanding, there will be several parents from Armando Serna Elementary present and ready to address the situation that happened with the school board. This is a very serious situation, guys. Our students are at stake. Their safety is at stake. We currently have an administration at the school board that does not care about the safety of your kids. They care more about how their kids are doing. And that is a very, very dangerous ground to be on, because all students should be treated equally and all students need to be taken care of just as if they were the students of those school board members. Joe, I know, man. I know. But guys, we showed you guys step by step how to submit that online complaint. And it's very important that you do so. It's not a laughing matter when we've seen this pattern before, not too far in Uvalde, with the Uvalde tragedy shooting that many people lost their lives. Children of that community lost their lives. Teachers in that community lost their lives. And there was a threat. There was multiple threats given on that school. And nothing was done. And we know what happened in that situation. That is why we have to do something as parents and as members of this community. No one, if you're not going to be the voice for your children, who's going to speak up for your children? I can tell you, no one. No one cares more about your children than you. And if you won't be the voice of your child is going to go unheard. Your child will be left behind. Because that's what they do to the children that don't have parents, that are there at the damn school asking questions, making comments, and standing up for their kids. It's very difficult for kids nowadays. It's not the same schools, it's not the same system, it's not the same culture. that you and I grew up in. The whole ball game is changed. And it has to do with these things. It's not, I mean, they didn't have cell phones in my time. I didn't get a cell phone until I was a senior in high school, guys. That was back in 2003, long time ago. But back then when we had cell phones, my senior year, we weren't making these kinds of threats. I believe Columbine had happened. And again, that comes from students that were bullied. And I understand that. Not the shooting. I understand the bullying and how can that affect a student. Hell, I see it how it affects adults. One thing is that they need to stand up for themselves, but when students can't, when our kids can't stand up for themselves, it's you, the parents, that need to stand up for your children. If you don't, who will? Who's going to stand up to the big bad superintendent Samuel Mijares, who makes over $300,000 a year? That is a lot of money for not being able to hold accountable your school administrators. Our students are the ones getting hurt in this situation. Our students are the ones that are being affected. There are several students in Armando Serna Elementary that are still to this day afraid to go to school because they're there sitting next to these kids that have not been charged, that have not been detained. Why? Now, I appreciate the school board trying, I mean, the school district trying to make some kind of statement, but did they tell you what happened? Did they tell you that these individuals or individual at Armando Serna University Elementary, that they were charged? They were detained? No, we haven't heard anything like that at all. But we heard about that in the Juan Seguin case. What's the difference? Is somebody being protected? And who is being protected? Now, they finally were able to sit down together and discuss these situations, I imagine, between the school district and the city of Eagle Pass. What came out of that, we're not sure. We are going to follow up with Mayor Aaron Valdez. We are going to follow up with Superintendent Samuel Mijares. I mean, we've seen him give interviews before. Why doesn't he show up to a Maverick Times podcast? Why doesn't he show up to a Maverick Times podcast to discuss the situation and what is being handled, what is being done, what is currently in place as far as protocols to ensure this type of threats do not happen, these types of threats do not happen again? It's really amazing. It's really amazing that our schools are so vulnerable the way that they are. And I thank the law enforcement. I thank every single agency. You got Texas DPS, you got City of Eagle Pass Police Department, you have EPISD Police. I know Maverick County Sheriff's Office is, I think they're responding. I know, shout out to Maverick County Constable Office Precinct 4. They're taking the brunt, and we saw on a social media post that they're taking care of the private schools. You had the chief of police for EPISD saying that that's not their responsibility. I understand jurisdiction, but why not pick up two more private schools that we have here? Two or three, whatever the number is. Those students are students just like the students in public schools. They should be getting protected as much as the students in public schools. I mean, the private schools matter too. All schools do. Now, again, I don't blame the EPISD police department directly. What I will say is that I believe they are understaffed. Why are they understaffed? When in the budget, there is a lot of places where they have unnecessary positions created for one reason only: to maintain political power. That is exactly what is happening at the school district currently. The school district is one of the biggest employers of individuals here in Eagle Pass. Now, imagine if you are in charge of the biggest public entity, the biggest company that has the most employees or most positions, highest budget. You can theoretically place as many people as you want in places in exchange for what? Votes? Question mark. Favor? Question mark. That is how the old political machine works. Now, you have seen us dissect a political machine and bury a political machine before. We have done it. And we're continuing to dismantle the corruption that continues to exist in this county. Make no mistake, parents, there continues to be corruption in our community. And the biggest corruption there is coming from the biggest entity that there is. Of course, it is easy to manipulate voting when you have the biggest entity, the most positions to get filled. Now, how many employees does the school district have? Hundreds, of not thousands. All of those employees have family members. Average family in Eagle Pass is about 3 point something. Let's say you have 1,000 employees, which I think I'm under in the school district. I think there's over 1,000, but let's put a number to it and say 1,000 employees. For 3.3 and a half members of each family, That's 3,500 votes. Make sure your family votes for me, or make sure your family votes for these people. Make sure your family votes for these people. Make sure your family votes for these people. That's 3,500 votes. Now, how many people actually go out and vote? 5,000? 6,000? Remember, we're here in a county where we're notoriously known for low voter count, low voting counts. When there's low voting counts, the people who haul votes, they're the ones who win elections, not the people running for elections. But the people who help get votes, the ones who haul the votes. When you have low voter turnout, the people who run votes are the ones that win, not elected officials. Now, if you follow our page, you heard back in the city election where Samuel Mijares, the superintendent, was directly involved in assisting a mayoral candidate. If you're not able to see the complete picture of what is going on, let me tell you, they are trying to influence our elections to gain power. Why do you think you have people that are teachers, administrators, people that have positions, principals? Why do you think that they go and run for elections at the city? It's control. It's all about control. It's all about power, guys. And that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you those things. They just say they're going to help you. No, they help themselves. That's all they help is themselves. And I can tell you that because I've seen that. You've seen that. We have, just look at our city council right now. You have Jessica Ray Ramon, who works in the school district. You have Billy Davis, that works in the school district. You have Mario Garcia, that works in the school district. That's the majority right there. So the majority belongs to Superintendent Samuel Mijares because they are his employees at the Eagle Pass Independent School District. That's how it is. That's the truth. That's the big show. That's the big blind. Ese es el tapado de ojos. Te están picando los ojos, however you want to call it. They want you to trust these people, but these people are doing this to you. They're covering your eyes to everything that is happening. It's the truth. Why do you think so many people run from the school district into the city of Eagle Pass elections, into the county elections? that are coming up soon. I can tell you there's going to be some people from the school district. Why? Power, control, money. And you see the same damn faces over and over and over and over. Why? Again, you have 3 employees of the school district currently serving in city council. One of which that has sketchy character. Another that is side by side with a former mayor candidate. The other that was given a nice position as a head of transportation. Yet, my daughter that's in junior high can't even get a bus ride to school because the route doesn't come by here. And forget trying to get a hold of Billy Davis in the transportation department. But it's okay. It's okay. The superintendent, Papi Samuel Mijares, te tapa todo. Tapan todo. They cover up everything for their people. I mean, let's not even go that far. What about that crooked deal that Morris Lipson, the school board member, did in donating to mayor candidate Monica Cruz? You tell me, guys, does a billboard sign cost $0? No. No, it doesn't. Those billboards are expensive. You're talking about multiple thousands of dollars. Yet these guys wanted to hide that from you. Why? That's the big question here is why? Why do they want to hide this from you? We just dropped the link of the complaint form for you guys. If you guys want to pick it up, if you need a complaint, I mean, those are legitimate complaints that need to be made. Why do school board employees continue to run for elected office? Is it because Superintendent Samuel Mijares asks them to? All I know, guys, is that who we elect at times can turn around and backstab us, the community. It's happened before. It's gonna happen again. That's human nature. But our jobs as parents, members of this community, is to protect our children and to watch out for those that try to deceive us. Those 3 members that are employees of the school district, they are very much involved. Very much involved with Superintendent Samuel Mijares. We have very sketchy school board members. School board members that provide services to our school, and they are still school board members. That's another one coming up. There was another law passed, a conflict of interest law that was passed recently by the state. And that law is going to be a game changer for our community. Well, we're hoping it'll be a game changer for our community that is hurting right now. So, SB, okay, no, it's not that one. So, there is a law that was passed by the legislature in which, okay, sorry, it's over here on this chat. HB 210. And what HB 210 says is that prohibition on certain activities by a vendor. A vendor that bids or receives a contract from a school district commits an offense if any individual serving on that board of trustees of the school district has a substantial interest in the vendor or affinity as determined under chapter 573 of the government code to an individual who has a substantial interest. So if you have an affinity to somebody that has a substantial interest in a contract, in an agreement with the school district, it is now a state jail felony. Oh, sorry. An offense under this section is a class C misdemeanor, and there's different levels of this. So if you're a vendor directly compensated, that individual serving on the school board district board of trustees and consideration for district entering into a contract with a vendor, that now can be considered a state jail felony. So I can tell you right now, in our school board, there is multiple, currently as we sit, there is multiple people on the school board that are right now in violation of what was it, Senate bill or House bill? HB 210. So again, that was a lot of information to recap. Sum it up. If you are a vendor, what does a vendor mean? If you provide services to a school district, it is a violation and a misdemeanor, could be a felony if you are a school board member or you're affiliated or have an affinity with somebody that is a school board member and you have a tie to them. Like, let's say if you're married to somebody and you provide these things, the investigation, Julio Valdez, thank you for that. I can say it, but I think it would be better if I just provide the proof. What do you think? I mean, we know the obvious. There's it. What I've been told is that there's about 3 of them that provide. I'm not beating around the bush. I just would rather, this is an investigation that we already had posted that we were going to provide you guys. So it's not beating around the bush. It's more like, let me put these documents together for you guys to see firsthand. There's 3 of them that we think that we are, but we need to make sure that they provide that service. Now, if you want, there is some names that have been thrown around, right? But there are people that could be in violation of this. Um, you know, and those people will need to step down. And from what we're hearing, currently Samuel Mijares, the superintendent, is looking to find somebody that is going to fill those positions because they're going to have to step down in the very near future. Again, it's not that we're beating around the bush, Julio. I think you know us a little bit better than that. But we do need to provide you guys with the backup documentation so you can see. And that is what we're currently working on through the proper channels and requesting that information for you guys to view firsthand. You guys appreciate the Maverick Times for being the best researched, the best investigated, and the one who provides the truth. And that's what we're trying to do to you or for you, right? So that is the issue that we're going on. HB 210 is going to change the dynamic of who can run for these positions here. Now, again, we have about 3 that we are looking into, but we want to provide you with the correct information. You guys know us as being different than any other news media here, and we are going to stand on that. There's nothing wrong with telling you that we're investigating them, but we are coming out with a full detailed article. And following that article, we're going to be submitting the complaint through TEA in the process that we just showed you a little bit earlier if you just jumped on. It is what it is. There is an issue going on. There is services that are being provided to the school. And there will no longer be that conflict of interest anymore because the law has been brought up and now there's a law that is going to make it happen to where it provides penalties for people that are attempting to do these types of things. Now, don't be surprised again. We've been hearing the back chatter that Superintendent Samuel Mijares is already looking for candidates. Already looking for candidates to fill those positions to ensure that he continues to be able to do whatever it is he wants to do with our school district. That article should be coming out by the end of this week, by the end of the work week. We're working hard on it. You know, the thing is that we have to ask that information. That information is not readily available to us. It should be, but it's not. We're gonna have to request it, and you know, hopefully we get a good response or a response from the superintendent Samuel Mijares, because it is difficult for us to do anything that we do whenever they do not follow the law. Now, they've been pretty good about providing us with the information that we request, albeit we had to pay $90 to get some of these records from these teachers not too long ago. And, you know, shout out to our community that paid for those files. And the reason why you guys do that is because not only like myself, you guys are tired of what is happening in our school district. Because other than teachers and staff that work there, the ones being affected more than anything is our students, your kids, my kids, our kids are being affected by the situation, by the issues, by the threats that are happening currently at Eagle Pass Independent School District. And do not make any mistake, guys, because the things, those threats, the issues, the concerns, the conflict of interests are happening because the people at the high level, I'm talking about the school board, trustees, all seven of them, and Superintendent Samuel Mijares, continue to run our school district how they see fit. So, unfortunately, we are looking into certain individuals to see if they're providing that service. Now, the people that I will tell you this, let's go ahead and say it, Julio. The people that we are looking into are Hilda Martinez. Uh, we're looking into it. We don't know yet, but we were looking into see if she's providing services to the school district. School board member Morris Lipson. Again, we're looking into it to see if he's providing services to the school district, and he is a school board member. And also, Chris Hiller, school board member, we're looking into it to see what services he's providing the school district. These are the individuals that we are looking at the moment, and we'll continue to see if any other individual has provided any type of service for the school district. Now, I can't tell you that they are without doing the actual research and requesting purchases, purchase orders, and anything concrete. But those are the school board members we are looking at that may be affected by this House Bill 210. Um, that's what we're looking at. And this was a new House bill. It's not something that's been existing. It was enacted in September 1st. So it is something that is fairly new, but something that needs to be addressed moving forward because it could cause a violation of that law, and it will affect school board members if they provide any type of services to the school district. Now, we've been upfront and up forth with you as much as we can, and this is just the truth. We're not afraid of to say the truth, and the people that we talk about shouldn't be afraid of anything we say because what we say is the truth. We're not here to sugarcoat. We're not here to beat around the bush, like Julio said. We're just making sure we give you the correct information. I mean, we have news medias that have killed people when they weren't dead. We have news medias that turn a blind eye to direct corruption. And it's not for me to judge. Everybody has their style of media, and we appreciate that you guys enjoy the investigative style, the only investigative news that you guys hear. And that's what we're good at. We're good at researching. We have integrity, and we love what we do because we're a part of this community. We were raised in this community, and we want to see better for our community. You know, and that is the moral of everything that we do, regardless of what anybody else can say. This law came in, HB 210 came in effect September 1st, 2025. So it is something fairly new that is going to be addressed soon. But again, we need to keep our eyes open to see who gets appointed at some of these positions, just in case some of these school board members do decide to step down. And a good school board member having the law that came out would step down, have some integrity, and step down, and that's fine. I mean, it's a new law. Before there wasn't anything before. Now there's something, and school board members should step down to avoid any possible conflicts, especially avoid any possible violations of the law. We, of course, we don't wish anything bad on anybody, or we don't want anybody to get in trouble, but it is a thing where it's a law now, and things need to be done. Real quick, guys, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to go ahead and end it. Shout out to our sponsors: Stephanie Valdez, 830-773-1804. Today's the last day of September. It was Life Insurance Awareness Month. If you did not have a chance to go during the month to visit Stephanie Valdez, our friendly State Farm agent here in Eagle Pass, I encourage you to do so. Stephanie Valdez is providing great rates and great potential possibilities to ensure your family is taken care of when you are no longer around to take care of them. So please visit Stephanie Valdez, our local State Farm agent. Uh, Viva Canine Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center, 1388 William Street, 830-335 2111. Guys, they recently were running their obedience training. There was plenty of dogs that graduated. Congratulations to the owners, the pets themselves. You guys deserve the congratulations for getting through that obedience class. Again, we remind you that Viva Canine is there for you to take care of your dog. Stop by, get to know their services. They're one hell of a pet caregiver here in our community. And I do know many people that take advantage of these Aviva Canine whenever they come from out of town. So visit Viva Canine Grooming, Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center at 1388 Williams. Again, 830-335-2111. The newest one, Paw Stars, guys. They're having a Shih Tzu Day. They're providing all sorts of services to your beautiful dog, the Shih Tzus, for $50. They're limited to only 5 spots, so you gotta act now. The phone number is 979-286-3718. Hit them up on WhatsApp. Again, they're limited. It's Wednesday only, so tomorrow's the only day. Make sure if you haven't signed up for their spots, they're limited to 5. $50, a great rate to give them a full spa experience. AT&T is having great sales. Their air internet is second to none. They're providing great deals if you bundle with your cell service. If you don't already have AT&T, they currently have a great deal for business lines. If you go with them, they're bundle up 5 business lines. They give you a credit for about $500 if you port over from another cell phone company. Take advantage. They're located at 297 Bibb Avenue. I'm sorry. You want to talk to David Martinez at that store. He's available to help you guys out with any issue that you may have, internet, cell phone service. If you want a lower costing bill, I would port over. I'm going to do it myself later on this week. I'm with T-Mobile, but I'm paying, double of what I'm going to pay with AT&T once I switch over. I encourage any of you guys that are not happy with your cell phone bills and any other, Verizon, T-Mobile, jump on over to AT&T. They'll take care of you guys. Be sure to visit David Martinez at the AT&T store at 297 Bibb. Maverick, I'm sorry, Mauricio's Trucking and Hauling, guys. They're still available and are ready for your service, whether it's a muddy driveway, whether it's any type of hauling, caliche, gravel rock, river sill, anything that you need, base, gravel, landscaping stone. Mauricio's Trucking and Hauling is available for you, and they work on weekends. So make sure you hit them up, 830-968-9461, 830-319-0725, 830-421-6811. They're serving Eagle Pass and South Texas with fast, dependable hauling. And again, they like working on weekends, guys. Be sure to contact them if you guys need hauling services. Guys, we thank you. It's about just over our 2 hour mark. We like to make these a little bit long. We can talk for days. That's why we had to just open the podcast up, right? But thank you for joining us. This was the Maverick Times podcast, episode 0057. Make sure, remember, October 14th is the next school board meeting. I encourage many of you to attend if you guys have any issues or complaints with the school district that need to be heard by the school board. Thank you guys. I'm Isaac Reese. This was the Maverick Times podcast, the original one, the original podcast here in Eagle Pass. Thank you. We're out.